just came back from 1917, and let me tell you something. That movie was amazing.
It was.
I have Gianni with me today.
Hello, guys. What's up?
So yeah, that's a lot to talk about that movie. But the first portion, I'll edit it in the video. It's letting you know when it's gonna be spoilers. But right now, it's spoiler-free review. All right, spoiler-free review. What did you think about the movie?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it's so weird because these type of movies usually get a small release, and we talked about it in the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Where it won all these Golden Globes, and we're like, well, the movie's not technically even out yet.
It's not.
And after seeing it, I think it deserved the Golden Globes it got nominated for.
Oh, most definitely.
Best Drama and Best Director. I don't know if there was an award for cinematography, but this movie definitely deserved it. If there was.
It's either this or Midsommar for 2019. This cinematography was like, I think there was one obvious cut in the movie, like an entire movie. So the rest of it, it's like a one-shot take, and it's absolutely amazing.
And when we say one shot, it literally is one fucking shot. Like, you could see like some of the tricks they use, like the invisible cuts. You can see, but like it's still very impressive and very hard to do. Like, there's just such these long takes where you're like, how the fuck did they do this?
I don't know, like how many times they fucked up to get that right. It's like really amazing.
Well, the story of it.
Yeah.
Because some people don't know, it's based on World War One.
Yeah, it's World War One. I think I'm not sure when exactly the time period or
it's 1917. That's where
like in the war, like otherwise.
Oh yeah. I don't know when the war started either. But we have our we start off with our
two main characters.
Our two main characters, and the basis of it is. We have one name, they're both two corporals.
Yeah.
One is Corporal Blake, which is the kid from Game of Thrones who played Thomas.
Yeah, the king that threw himself off the ledge.
Yeah, spoiler. And then you have a Corporal Schofield.
Yeah.
And
that actor I've never seen before, but he was amazing in this film.
He was one of the best parts of this film.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, that's set up, I suppose. Basically, the story of it, as it is in the trailer, is these two guys are assigned a mission to basically... A big battalion of troops have already gone up ahead to attack the Germans, right?
Yeah, and one of their brothers are in the battalion. That's why they chose him. So like you can actually get the urgency to get there.
Yeah. One of the characters' brothers is in that battalion, and basically they're walking into a trap. They think the Germans are retreating, but they're actually setting up a bigger trap, and they're gonna slaughter all of them. Yeah. So it says if you don't get there before dawn, before they attack, your brother and everyone else is going to die.
Yeah, this movie takes place over not even a day. Maybe like 12 to 14 hours, and it's intense. Like some scenes are like just like oof.
Honestly, if I could think of one word to define this movie, it is intense. Like just tension.
The one shot takes the one shot aspect makes it so like
you feel like you're with them.
Yeah, you're with them.
You're with these two guys on this journey. And you could just tell from the very beginning they're not prepared for this.
Oh, they're not. They just wake up, you know.
It literally starts with them by a tree just sleeping, and then someone wakes them up, and it's like within minutes they're on like this insane mission.
Yeah, that was in the trailer, so that's not really spoilers, but yeah.
And they wake up by a tree. I mean, fucking yeah. It's to me. Okay, let's talk about the acting. We already said that the acting by Schofield was amazing.
Yeah.
The acting in Corporal Blake, the younger one.
Blake.
He definitely gained some weight. Last time I saw him, he was a lot skinnier in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. I think just his face was kind of fat. Honestly, I don't think like.
But I kind of liked it though, because his character's very like you can tell like he's the softer out of the two of them.
Yeah, he's like he's the main guy, like he's the hero of the story type of guy.
Yeah. He's definitely the softer one, and then Schofield is kind of like the gritty like. You know, been through some shit. I mean...
Yeah, like, you know, age before beauty.
Age before beauty, yeah. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about is the atmosphere of this movie. Like,
it's depressing.
I feel like if you're a big historian, you can enjoy this film because it feels just really accurate. I mean, I'm not a big World War One buff, but I played plenty of Battlefield 1.
Yeah, Battlefield 1.
And this shit is really just, like... I don't know where they shot this at, but it feels so practical and so, like, you feel like you're there.
There's, like, points where, like, they're walking through, like burnt forest, and like that's practical. That's like just beyond me. And the trenches they had to go through, like
Yeah.
all the trenches were practical. Shit's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful movies I've seen in a long time. I mean, it's one of the best war movies I've seen in a long time.
Most definitely. Since Fury for me.
And since Hacksaw Ridge for me. I want to make something very clear to people. This is not your typical action like war movie.
It's I wouldn't say slow burn.
It's not slow burn, but
you
it's
feel on your feet the whole time.
I would compare it more to something like a like Argo, just a movie that's very tense.
Yeah.
Like based on a true story. This one was inspired by true events, but based on a true story and like very, very intense. Like there's moments where you're on the edge of your seat, and like you said, the one shot aspect, it keeps you on the edge of your seat because you don't get a break.
You don't.
You don't get a breather. And you feel the tension that these men have as they're traveling through. They think just to their deaths. I mean, they're telling them to
almost definitely.
They're telling them to go on an insane journey, and it's you can just tell they're not prepared for this at all.
The quotes and the lines that like the people say are like so quote like I fucked with it. I think it was like the very beginning. I'm not sure what he said, but I have to look it up. But like when the general gave them a quote, I was like, damn, that's like deep.
Yes.
It also kind of foreshadowing the story, but yeah.
To me, this movie, I feel like it should have gotten just a wide release maybe later in the year or maybe just in December. I guess because Star Wars came out, they didn't want to like compete with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't think many people are gonna watch this movie anyway because
of January movies.
Yeah, January movie. It doesn't seem like the type of movie that gets people out into the theaters. And I
nope.
To make this short and sweet, go watch this film.
Watch it.
If you love war movies, even if you don't love war movies, we brought someone who doesn't even like war movies like that, and she loved it.
Yeah.
I think just as long as you know what you're getting yourself into, that this is not as like Platoon or Apocalypse Now where it's nonstop action.
Yeah, it's not nonstop like gun blazing, like Nazis dropping dead. It's not nothing like that.
It's very tense, very real, and you feel just like you feel the scope of what's happening right now. Like you feel, and I'm not really a World War I buff. Like I said, I don't know much about World War, and I haven't seen many World War I movies. But like,
this shit will hit you.
it'll hit you hard. That's what I have to say. I mean,
what would your let's get this out of the way for like people that want to see the movie and don't want to watch the spoilers. What would your verdict for this movie be? What would you give it?
There's very few flaws with it.
Yeah.
I loved the acting. The pacing was very well.
Yeah.
And movies like this, it's very easy to slow everything down and get very boring. This movie did not get boring for me.
Yeah.
It kept its pace very well acted, very emotional moments in the film, and very just intense moments in the film, and very like I don't even know what the word to use is, but like there's just certain shots. Again, that one shot like take thing, it just leaves your jaw on the floor sometimes. I mean, I'm stuck between a 9 and a 10. I feel like there's parts of this movie that like I know I'm very biased 'cause I just saw it, but like as a movie, this doesn't have many flaws, and the way it ends and the journey you follow these two men on.
The way it ends was like almost perfect.
It's like many movies don't hit the landing, and many movies fumble, and this movie took risks. It took risks in the story.
It went full circle, pretty much.
I'm gonna go with a 10.
10?
I'm gonna go with a 10. I know that sounds very like just out of nowhere, but I love war movies, and I've seen everything from American Sniper to Hacksaw Ridge to Saving Private Ryan. This movie, to me, it's not your typical movie you can watch over and over and over again. This movie, I feel like, should be watched once. You should see this journey, and it'll stay with you, the journey of these two men. And I think it totally deserved the Golden Globe for Best Drama. And Sam Mendes is a genius. I knew he was a good director, but he proves that he's still amazing. And I'm gonna go with 10 out of 10.
For me, the cinematography was beyond amazing. The score was fucking amazing. Just had your emotions going up and down with the characters. Characters, again, were amazing. They had a lot of, A-list celeb, like Benedict Cumberbatch is in it, but it's not their story. It's the two soldiers you see in the trailer. It's their story, and it's honestly amazing. But I would still have to give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's definitely I could see 9 out of 10, but for me it just I don't know. It just hit me very hard.
All right, well, that's about as much as you'll get for the spoiler free. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, do all that, and thank you for watching. And
go watch this movie.
Go watch it. Spoilers. Okay.
Spoiler time.
Spoiler time, bruh.
This movie took some serious risks.
Yeah, it fucking killed one of them off like 30 minutes.
30 minutes in.
It killed one of them off 30
Holy
minutes in.
Holy shit! And it killed off Lieutenant Corporal Blake, which was the pug kid from
which you thought would be the main character of this story.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
Though. At first, I was like, "That's stupid," but I loved it afterwards.
Yeah.
So basically, Blake has to go. It's his brother in the battalion. He has to go. And you thinking because the other guy gets abused, like they're running,
fucked up.
He gets his hand caught on the barbed wire.
Gets his hand cut like slashed, and then next he falls into a dead body and gets an open cut in the dead body.
And you're like, fuck, man, he's taking some damage. And the one shot mechanic, you just feel like most movies that go on journeys, you don't feel like you're actually on a journey. No. This one, you feel like you're on a fucking journey because it's one fucking shot. You feel like you're with them every step of the...
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he gets even more abused. They go into this... Because basically, they meet this amazing lieutenant who doesn't get enough time, in my opinion.
No,
he's funny as shit.
Yeah.
Because apparently, they're like... Again, they're just going from the chain of command. Like, all right, the general gave them the orders. All right, now go meet this lieutenant. No, go meet this major. And they're running. You see them walking in the trenches, and you get a scope for how big these trenches are.
Yeah.
And how massive they are.
And how fucking dreadful they are. Oh my god.
I mean, there's like
everyone just laying on the ground.
Everyone's like all packed up together, just sleeping and shit. And then they don't find the major. The major's dead.
Yeah, the major's dead.
They found a lieutenant.
That was like, God.
Just chilling and shit, smoking a cigarette. Yeah. Just like, who the fuck are you? Like, he's just like your typical, like, brash Brit.
If you start getting shot at, just please throw the flare back.
Just throw the flare back. So basically, he's like, listen. Because the general says that they got air surveillance that, those Germans in front of you, they've all retreated. They're not there anymore. They abandoned their post.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, are you fucking kidding
me?
No
one believes them.
We're fighting them 2 nights ago. You're not going to tell us they fucking left their post.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, here you go. Take this flare. And if you get over there, shoot it. And if you get shot, please throw the fucking thing back.
Yeah.
And so... Dude,
they walked dead man's land.
No man's land.
No man's land. They walked that.
When they took that step, the music and everything, it's just so eerie. Like, they just walked on it, and you're just like, dude...
That scene took forever, like, in a good way, though.
I loved it. It paced itself.
At one point, it says, we're halfway there. I was like, halfway? God damn.
Like, you feel like why they call this no man's land. And you're seeing all these bodies, dude, the practical...
Fucking horses, too. God
the practical effects were amazing. Yeah. Like, these... Oh, my... I haven't seen it this good since Hacksaw Ridge, which is all the dead bodies everywhere. Yeah. And they're just walking across this land, which is a huge battlefield. And they eventually...
get to the German trenches. Which I found funny how big of a difference they were. Like, how big and, like, massive the Germans' trenches were compared to the American trenches.
Yeah.
It was, like, small and narrow, but the Germans, you got 2 people can walk side by side together. It was, like, really
They even make a joke where they find the rats. Like, fuck, the rats are bigger than us.
Yeah, even the rats are bigger than us.
And so they find it abandoned, and they go and they're searching through these trenches inside.
Which was very intense.
Like, these bunkers. It's dark as shit, and they have to get these lights out. And eventually, he finds a tripwire. And this is, like, where, like, it gets kind of... Because they found a rat, and the rat scurries. The little kid, the younger kid, the one who has the brother, freaks out, trips the wire, and just, boom, a big-ass explosion goes off.
The wire set...
the rat set it off?
The rat set it off.
The rat set off the wire?
There was, like, there was a bunch of, like, bags hanging. A rat was nibbling on it. He grabbed one of the bags and ran to the tripwire, and then... Boom!
And that one shot, it felt so real.
I thought he was dead.
I thought he was dead too.
The way the rocks covered him, he was just ripping it like, fuck.
Yeah, he's literally buried under this pile of rubble, and the kid's clawing finds him. He's completely covered in dust. He's like spitting it out.
Yeah, like it's disgusting.
And the thing's about to collapse. Like we have to go. It's like I can't see. I can't see.
Like don't let go.
It's a very intense scene. They barely make it out. And this is where you start getting character development because one of the big risks when you're doing a one-shot kind of movie is you run the risk of like not having proper character development. Yeah. And to me, this movie did it amazingly. It opens up with them sleeping, and he's like talking about like, oh, you threw your ribbon away, like you got a medal. Yeah. He's like, I don't care about a fucking medal. Like the older one, Schofield.
He said, oh well, people died for that. Like the younger one, what's his name?
Blake.
Blake was like, people died for it. You should respect it.
It's just a piece of tin.
And then he said, it's not just a piece of tin. It's a piece of tin with a ribbon on it.
With a ribbon on it. It's pretty funny. And so when they get out of the bunker, he like gets the canteen, wipes his face, and he goes, out of all the fucking people you could have had to take, why did it have to be me? Yeah. Because when they wake up, it's like, oh, take someone with you. He's like, all right, man, we're coming. It's like...
Oh, yeah, the beginning, they start off with both of them fuck?
Blake and Schofield.
Schofield. Blake was laying on the floor napping. Schofield was laying on a tree napping.
Leaning
Keep that
against
in
a
mind.
tree, yeah.
Leaning against a tree napping.
And this, like, so he's like wiping all the thing off. He's like, fuck,
Yeah.
man. He's like, you want to go back? You want to go back? He's like, just fire the fucking flare. Like, just fire the fucking flare. They fire the flare. They noticed that all the Germans destroyed their own weapons.
Yeah.
They just completely sabotaged everything because they didn't want them to take it back when they took it
fucking
over.
killed all the animals inside.
Killed all the cows.
Yeah.
And this is where the movie took its biggest risk because they're walking. They find this abandoned house. They're searching this house.
Everything seemed a bit chill right now, so you
Yeah.
feel like you're at the safe point now.
Yeah, you feel like they're
safe.
like, okay, they're going to pause, have a moment for character development.
Yeah.
They see these planes that have been flying over,
yeah.
and they're flying over again, and you see a German plane come over.
It
And
was 2 Americans planes,
one German.
one German plane.
And they get in the dogfight, and it's beautifully one take. It's
Yeah.
well shot. I don't even know how they pulled this off.
No clue.
The Americans fire the German on the plane. You're like, wait a minute, is that coming? Oh shit, it's coming closer.
First, like, 'cause they were on top of a hill, so when a plane goes like down on the
You can't see
hillside,
it.
you didn't see it, and all of a sudden you see a fucking plane rush at them, crashing at them.
And they barely survive. They move out the way, and we didn't even know it was the German at first. We thought it was one of the Americans.
Yeah.
You hear the German screaming for help. They help him.
Help him.
Help him out of the cockpit. He's laying on the ground. The younger one, Blake, stays, and Schofield goes to get some water.
Schofield says we should put him out of this misery. Then Blake said, no, get him some water.
And
Alright?
so Schofield goes, gets his helmet, and fills up some water. Turns around.
And sees a fucking 6-inch knife stuck into Blake's stomach.
The German shanked his ass.
Shanked his ass.
Again, he immediately pulls it off. Bang! Pops 2 bullets in him. Kills his ass immediately.
And Blake takes the knife out, which I feel like he should not have done.
And this is where the movie... I didn't know what was going to happen here. This movie took its biggest risk here, in my opinion.
I thought, because I thought he was going to grab the knife, set it on the fire, and like,
cauterize.
cauterize
You thought they were
him.
going to pull some movie bullshit to help him live to the end.
No, he died.
He fucking
The
dies.
kid died. It's like scared too.
And it's long too. It's drawn out.
At least
it's
5 to 7 minutes of him like first realizing he got stabbed and freaking the fuck out, and
and
then
he's like, "Come on,
them trying to drag him.
Let's bring you to it." And I was like, "Fuck, I'll carry you." And he's like, "He's not."
And
He's
he's like screaming like, because
He-
I imagine it's fucking like a 6-inch fucking gash in your stomach.
It's
You're
fucking-
flipping out and shit.
And it's like you just realize where it's this moment
It's
of
war.
It's this moment of somberness where, because the story in hindsight should be about this kid finding his brother.
Yeah.
And then you realize that no, it's not about that.
That's especially what the trailers made it out to be.
Yeah,
which I love.
and it's not about that. It's about the journey of getting this message.
It's the message.
It's getting the message to prevent thousands of soldiers from dying. It was
Yeah.
never about him finding his brother.
That was just a side thing.
It was a side
Like,
thing.
He like dies slowly, saying, "I'll tell my mom I would."
No, tell him it was quick, or tell him I died doing something noble or something.
Yes,
like
to tell
that.
him like I was brave, like I didn't cry or something.
Yeah, tell him it was quick.
And then he said, yeah, I will.
And
then
he just slowly,
dies.
he's just like, I mean, he's like, keep talking. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like a
keep
moment of
talking.
silence. He's like, keep
Yeah.
talking, and he's in the middle of him talking. You just notice, oh, he's not breathing no more.
No, he's not,
And it's this
no.
moment like, I just watched my friend die in my arms. Like it's like this
Yeah.
really somber moment. And the crazy part is he's going to like I guess drag him somewhere else because he doesn't want to leave him laying in the middle of the mud. And so he's dragging him, and these 2 Englishmen, these 2 soldiers on his side pop up, and then that's when you realize, like, fuck, man, like, they were so close. Like,
Yeah, entire like 4 or 5 truck convoy showed up like a couple like
seconds,
a minute,
like,
seconds after
he finally bled out.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize, like, fuck, man, he was so
If
close.
we would have waited like 30-40 seconds longer, a medic could have
And
done
then
something.
the guy from Kingsman shows up as a general.
bald guy, yeah, the
the
bald
bald guy. I forgot. I'm horrible with
I
names.
guess the guy from Kingsman was also in the. He was the general that sent them off to the mission. He was
Yeah.
also in Kingsman.
Yeah, Colin Firth.
Yeah, Colin
yeah.
Firth.
And he, basically tells him like, it's a
You
shame.
can't like don't linger on it.
Don't linger on it. I was like, I know you've heard this before, but don't linger on it.
Yeah.
And again, this movie's smart. It's like it knows that it's a very long journey to get there, so they use trucks. So he gets in the truck. Again, this is all one shot. As
So
we're
like,
seeing this.
but like keep this in mind. Like the 2 characters we see, one of them is dead.
It's like
So
30
it's
minutes
on his
in.
own. Yeah, it's like 30-40 minutes in.
Schofield, the older one, is on his own now.
He's on his own.
And it's a huge risk because you didn't think the story was going to revolve around him.
No,
and,
at all.
And I compared it well to saying like that's like watching the first Star Wars movie and then Luke dies halfway through and Han Solo
Has to
takes everything else
Yeah.
over. Like it's like a very big risk. It could backfire. This movie I think handled it well.
Yeah.
And it showed this character Schofield is more fleshed out than we thought he was.
Oh, way more. Yeah,
He gets a lot of character development in this movie. And so he gets in the truck with all these, and this is when like the historical accuracy is public because you there's an Indian on the truck with them.
Because they were.
Because the Indians were helping them in World War One.
Yeah.
And there's some African Americans too, and
a lot of these characters are legit. Like after this, a lot of the characters are a one and done scene.
Yeah.
They're not in there for long. So the rest of the movie is just Schofield.
Joe Schofield by himself.
By himself. It's like all the famous actors, like Benedict Cumberbatch, like all of them, just one scene off, and then that's it. Which I kind of like too.
To me, this is where you get one of the best scenes in the movie. The truck gets stuck in mud.
Yeah.
Because remember at the beginning, he's like, dude, fuck this. Let's not go on this journey. We're not well for this. Remember, he's like, let's find more people. We don't need to do this. Like,
let's think about it. Like,
let's think about it. And the guy's like, no, we have to go. My brother's in danger.
But now he's the one pushing everyone. Like, come on.
The truck's stuck in the mud, and now he's like, guys, push it. Like, help me push it.
No one was really helping him.
And he's like, come on, we're gonna fucking push this. He's like, you can see he's motivated now. Like,
he's like crying, halfway crying.
He has to fucking do this.
Yeah.
And they get the truck out of the mud, and the route that we're gonna take, the bridge is collapsed.
So that's when this is the first time in the movie, like for the rest of the movie, he's on his own.
He's isolated.
Yeah.
And he's crossing this bridge because it's caved into the water, so he's climbing it on the railings, and someone starts shooting at him. You're like, oh,
German
fuck.
sniper.
German sniper starts shooting at him. They get into a gunfight. He shoots them out the window. And then again, it's very intense. The camera's following him as he's going
going up the stairs.
And he opens the door. Bam! Bam! They trade shots, and he gets shot in the helmet.
And this is the first and only obvious cut.
Yeah.
Because, like, he gets knocked the fuck out.
He falls down the stairs, and then black.
Like, it was daytime, and then he wakes up, like, middle of the night, I guess? I don't know.
Like, it's like at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
dawn comes really fast.
Yeah,
so it's like 3 or 4 a.m.
He was knocked out for a couple hours.
And this is where you get the sense of, like, okay, now the Germans are coming back into this town because...
Yeah.
Again, it's this very beautiful cinematography. They're firing flares into the sky
to see where he is.
So it's completely pitch black, and this bright flare just comes out of nowhere.
Then zooms back on, and like it's a part where he's running down like a long ass like street, and like every time the flare goes off, he runs. And then when the flare comes back on, he ducks and dives and shit.
And it was intense. It's so beautifully watched. I cannot rave enough how good this movie is shot. And then eventually he comes across this house that's completely on fire.
Yeah. And
then he sees a soldier, and the soldier's looking at him, thinks it's a normal, like, thinks it's a German.
Yeah, thinks it's a German.
And as he gets closer, like, oh, that's a fucking, I think he's out of ammo at this point. Because or else he would have just shot him. Because he wasted a lot of bullets trying to kill that sniper.
Yeah, he only put one in the chamber.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, he runs away and ducks into this building. And this is where the movie slows down a little bit for me. A little bit. But not as long as, like, Fury, where it drags on for, like, a whole act.
He runs into this French girl hiding a baby, which isn't hers actually.
And that's when that's when I realized this is why this scene is okay for me, because it shows you that this is what happens in war. Yeah, like she's abandoned, finds a baby, because the way they do this is because I guess he knows French.
Yeah, a bit, just like one or two words.
And then he's like,
like he needs to go to this town.
Is it a girl? And she goes, I don't know.
No, what's his name?
Oh, what's her name?
What's her name?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And who's the mother? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not hers. And, he gives her, I guess because he found some milk where the cows were at that one house, so he gives her the milk for the baby, gives her a bunch of food.
Then he leaves.
And she's telling him, like, please don't leave.
Yeah.
And he's like, he has to do the mission.
And then he gets...
She tells him, oh, like, how do I get here? The river.
The river.
She says the river.
Follow the river.
And again, we get this amazing scene where, like, he goes back out into the night, and he sees, like, this one German's, like, all drunk and shit.
Puking his guts out and everything.
And then he goes into the building. And
sees a young German.
There's a young German. And, again, he's, like, covers his mouth, like, shh.
Now in a regular movie, the enemy would stay quiet. Yeah. But in this movie, the second he says, shh, don't say anything, removes his mouth, the German fucking screams.
And this where this one shot looks so beautiful. He tackles him to the ground, they're wrestling. You see the other German drunk stumbling into the building.
While he's choking the
shit out of him in the foreground. And in the background, you see the German. And you see the German's like, slowly like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And the
that's the one part I found odd. When he ran past the other drunk German. He killed the other one, but he pushed the other one to the side and run. I don't know why he didn't kill that one either.
I guess just urgency. He wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, so he dipped, and then they were fucking chasing him, gunfire,
and he jumps into the river.
The funny part was the drunk German was the one chasing after him. At one point, he legit tripped and fell. Yeah. And then he jumps into the river, which was intense. Then he fucking falls down the waterfall. And
then he washes up on the shore. And it's this beautiful shot where, like, these cherry blossom trees Because
he looks like he was about to give up, honestly.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to give up because he kind of fell asleep a little bit and fell
Yeah.
under the water. Then he woke back up and spit all the water out.
Then he saw the cherry blossom trees, which was early in the movie that
They Germans cut him down.
they cut him down.
And
he was talking about.
And Blake was like, he's like, how do you know about it? And Blake's like,
my mom owns some.
an orchard.
Yeah, orchard.
And the petals are falling off into the water, and it's this very beautiful scene. And he washes up in the shore, and he starts actually crying.
Yeah, crying
because he just doesn't want to do this anymore.
No. Then he hears the singing.
He hears the singing, and that's when he realizes he made it to the battalion.
He made it to the battalion.
And he's slowly walking through the forest.
Everyone's kneeling down.
Everyone's kneeling down. Some guys singing. And then eventually the song was over, and like these other guys are like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, like where you came from?
You're completely soaked.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you? He's like, I'm looking for this battalion. We're the battalion.
Yeah, we're the fourth wave.
Yeah,
the rest of them are down there.
And he's like, oh shit! And again, the music starts picking up, and this we get a feel for how big these trenches are, and how narrow it is, because he's trying to like you see like he has to run past, and then you see this long line of troops. He's trying to scurry out past him. He's like, Where's Major fucking
what's his name?
What's his name? Hold on, I have it right here.
Like,
Benedict Cumberbatch's character in the movie. His name is
I don't think it's even gonna be on the top fucking list, honestly.
No, he'll be in here. Hold on.
The scope of it was just amazing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be
right there. Colonel Mackenzie.
Where's Mackenzie? Everyone's just further down
there, and it's literally you're running down this chain of command. And then he runs across these group of soldiers that are getting informed of what to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, stop, I have a letter, this tax be called. I was like, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, like what the fuck are you talking about?
Shut the fuck up. Like, it's like, shut the fuck up. And I remember early in the film, the guy from Kingsman,
the bald man,
is like, listen.
Make sure you say it in front of everyone.
Make sure, because he's like, Mark Strong is his name, Mark Strong.
Captain Smith.
He basically says, make sure there's witnesses. Because some men just want the fight.
Yeah, so he doesn't care. Yeah.
He doesn't care about the order. Some men just want the fight.
So make sure there's witnesses.
And he's running down this line of soldiers, and he's not going to make it in time. You know he's not going to make it.
And that's the best scene in the movie.
This scene is in the trailer. It does not do it justice in the trailer.
He does. He asks them, like, oh, is it too late? We're sending the first wave already.
And 30 seconds. You hear him say 30 seconds.
He just freezes, and he just, like, looks.
And he says, how far is it? 300 yards down that way.
And the camera just pans on his face, and you know what he's about to do.
To me, this is a prime example of storytelling with no words, because you can see the dilemma in his face. The camera's zooming in on him again, one shot.
Yeah.
And you just realize, like, he can't make it past all these men. There's too many men in the way.
He knows for a fact he's not gonna make it in time if he still runs through the trenches. So what he does, he fucking gets
onto no man's land and starts fucking running.
And then people start running out after him.
Because they send in the first wave.
Yeah, and then he's tripping over the fucking people and everybody. He's just fucking tripping. He's just stumbling, running through.
To me, my God. This shot might be one of the best shits I've ever seen in a long time. Because the music starts swelling, and you're like, wait a minute.
Everyone's fucking dying around him. Fucking explosions.
Again,
bodies
it's in
dropping.
The trailer, but yet It doesn't matter. It still hits very hard, because you're just like, wait a minute. He's not gonna fucking.
He did a 300 sprint dash
to the fucking, and he's just hauling ass, because you can see.
I like it. When he first got up, he wasn't even running. He was first walking. He was like first walking, and then he started running and then fucking sprinting. It was amazing.
You see the determination in his face. Like, he wants this. He wants to get this message, and he eventually makes it. He gets in, and they're like trying to keep him out. Like, no, don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
He's like, I need to get this fucking letter, and he pushes past them. And he's like, Colonel Mackenzie, this attack needs to be followed. And then that's where you see Benedict Cumberbatch.
Like, shut up.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like, he's like, what are you talking about?
He's a leather.
And then he's like, I've heard this plenty of times. They're going to tell me not to attack at dawn. I'm attacking now. They're retreating. He's like, no, the Germans wanted you to do this. They planned this.
Yeah.
And the moment goes quiet. He's like, please read the letter. He opens it and reads it. And this is where, the movie, you thought it was going to do one thing. It was like, oh, he's going to send him anyway.
Yeah.
Because Marshall's like, some men just want to fight. You thought, he's going to send him in. He goes, call off the attack.
Yeah,
call off the attack. And again, he's like, I need to find Lieutenant Blake, Corporal Blake's older brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, where can I find him? And that's when you realize, oh shit, the first wave already went. He's like, he was in the first wave.
His brother was in the first wave. So we thought, oh yeah, the brother's fucking dead. He didn't make it.
And he's like, you have to find him at the casualties tent. And he goes scurrying past all these troops.
And we see like fucking
fucked
we saw
up
a
injuries.
dude with just his calf like ripped, blown off. It's like, what the fuck? A chunk of a dude's fucking
Again, this
gone.
is not an action movie. Like,
no, it's not.
That's like the biggest action set piece towards the end, but like, it's not about that. It's not about the war happening in the background. It's about the journey of saving like hundreds of lives. Like, And he gets to this casualties tent, this medic tent.
Like, he's screaming for his name, no one's answering, and he slowly turns around, and then he sees him.
And it's fucking the Rob Stark
from
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't the actor he's actually really good. He's you ever seen The Bodyguard?
Yeah, I've seen The Bodyguard.
Richard Madden is his name.
Yeah, Richard Madden.
And he's Lieutenant Blake. He's the older brother. When I actually kind of like that they got a big name, because if you're only gonna have him in for a few scenes, you might as well just fucking keep him in there.
You might as well go big, yeah.
And again, he turns around. He's like,
from the 8th Battalion. I say, oh, you know my brother. I say, yeah. Oh, is he around?
And there's this moment of silence, and he's like, it was quick.
It was quick.
It was quick. That's the first words he says. And you could tell, like, he's trying to keep his composure because he's a lieutenant.
Yeah, but he's about
like,
to break down.
And then he's like, all right, well,
thank you.
You must be hungry. Go to the mess hall. And
he starts walking away, but then he turns around and says,
your brother was a good man.
He's like a brave man. Like,
he saved my life. And
do you mind if I write your mother? And it's yes, of course.
Because Blake said, write my mother a letter from me. And to me, this is, again, I think this is the second best shot in the whole movie, where he's like, he turns away from him, and he's walking towards this tree.
This single standing tree.
By itself. And the music is so well, like, composed.
I didn't realize until the second he got and sat down, that's how the movie, because the movie technically started with the younger one.
Yeah.
And with him next to a tree. But the movie ended with him.
By himself.
Laying next to on a tree.
And here's where you get another bit of character development, because he mentions earlier, he's like, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go back home.
But you also see him, like, he had like a metal tin with him always. He always looks in it, but we never see what's in it.
We never see what's in it.
But he opens it and then sees he has a wife and daughter.
A wife and daughter.
Yeah.
And he lied to the French woman. He's like, you have any kids? He's like, no.
No, yeah.
And that's when you understand, like, he has a fear of going back because he has to leave.
Yeah.
So that's why he says, I don't want to go back. I'm afraid to go back.
And then the movie just ends with him sitting under that tree.
And the letter on the back of the photo says, come back to us.
Yeah, that too.
And, like, I just can't, like,
it was amazing.
That to me, again, all that ends well is well, and this ending was a perfect ending to a great movie.
It was amazing. You guys, if you need to watch it.
You need to watch it. If you're not a fan of war movies, give this one a chance. I think if you're a fan of a great story, this is definitely it.
Most definitely.
I know we just spoiled the fuck out of it, but, watch it anyway, honestly.
Watch it anyways.
Again, even though it's spoiled, the only moment that really can get spoiled is the second character dying.
Yeah.
The younger Blake.
Which happened in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, because everything else, you have to experience it.
Yeah.
And if you can, we didn't do this, watch it in IMAX.
That should have.
Some of this shit might get super enhanced.
We watched
the
Joker in IMAX. We should not have watched.
We should not have watched.
We should have watched this shit in IMAX. Oh my god.
This shit was. I cannot rave enough about that running scene. Was just
fucking put Run Boy Run in the background.
Yeah,
Run.
Just fucking takes off.
Yeah.
But that's the spoilers. That's the 1917.
If you guys made it this far, thank you. Like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right, thanks guys. Peace.